The success of Barbie means one thing and one thing only: the Mattel Cinematic Universe. Because DC hasn't reached these type of numbers since 2018's Aquaman. So could it be that WB, fast-tracked the Mattel Cinematic Universe over James Gunn's DC Universe plan? Because here are the hard facts. As I say, the DCEU hasn't made real money since 2018. That's a very long time. That's flop after flop after flop. Are they really going to invest even more money in the James Gunn plan? We know Blue Beetle's coming out. We know the projections are terrible. We know it's a foregone conclusion. It's going to flop. So in terms of the DCEU, aka the DC Universe, is it worth investing so much money when Barbie has come in and it's exciting people and entertaining people? Whatever you think of the movie, whatever you think of the movie's motivations, it's been a success. Barbie fever is here, and there's no question that WB will want to develop a Mattel Cinematic Universe. And my point is, the actuals are there. The numbers are huge. People will be crying out for a Barbie sequel. There are so many characters and ties within the Mattel trademark. There's lots of potential here. If you can continue bringing in Greta Gerwig or directors of that type of ilk, it's going to be very, very huge. This, my friends, is the changing of the guard to superheroes and comic book live action to the Mattel Cinematic Universe. The numbers are there. The facts are there. It's not even worth WB investing all this money in DCU when the Mattel Cinematic Universe has so much potential. These are the facts of the matter. So what would I do if I was them? Now, I am hearing that, that their priority right now is the Mattel Cinematic Universe over DCU. We all know what happened to the Superman Returns sequel after the 2007-2008 Writers Guild of America strike. Before the strike, they'd greenlit Bryan Singer's sequel. After the strike, there was nothing happening. And there's big comparisons comparing Bryan Singer's Superman Returns to James Gunn's DC Universe plans. Why? Because we've seen all these DCEU movies flop. So, and basically the DCU is kind of a continuation of the DCEU, but in a new timeline. Can they guarantee making money? These are the facts of the matter. The actuals and numbers for Barbie are there. The industry is excited. Access Media are excited. Reviews are great. Critics are excited. The fans are excited. As I say, this is not about me. I have not seen the Barbie movie. Maybe one day I will see it. Maybe one day I'll calm down about the extremist propaganda that's behind the motivations for that movie. But it doesn't matter what I think. I'm a 50-year-old man. Because moviegoers have gone to see Barbie. Moviegoers are continuing to go and see Barbie. So this is how the industry works. The industry adjusts for what makes money. This industry is on its knees. It needs to make money desperately. The future isn't Tom Cruise. The future isn't the Mission Impossible franchise. It didn't even reach the heights that they wanted it to do at Paramount. All that effort that Tom put in with his own stunts and all that. People are getting bored of all of that. But Barbie is huge. That's it. Barbie is massive. So there's going to be a Barbie Cinematic Universe. There's going to be a Barbie sequel. And I'm hearing rumors that the Mattel Cinematic Universe is the priority at Warner Brothers Discovery. And, the DCU is not as a high priority. as the Mattel Cinematic Universe. And listen, I'm a huge DC fan, but you can't actually blame them for putting the Mattel Cinematic Universe, in front of the queue. The numbers are huge. It's as simple as that. It has worked. I wasn't sure it was going to work. I thought it was a dumb idea to make a Barbie movie, but whatever tactics they've used, they've worked. Now, whether a Barbie sequel can be successful and a Mattel Cinematic Universe can be successful, right? If you're saying, the Mario movie making over $1 billion means they should make more Nintendo, adaptions for film, then it's the same thing with Mattel and Barbie and so on. It's there. It's been a success. This is the biggest success for Warner Brothers for a very, very long time. Everything they've touched has turned to shit, but this is huge. This is gold dust. So why wouldn't they make this a priority? Why wouldn't they set this out to be the new thing? We all know that superhero movies and television shows are not the trend. They're not the gold dust anymore. So they're looking for something else. Now, I don't particularly think it's a great idea to focus all your energy and finances and production budgets on cinematic universes, but that's what they're going to do. Because ever since the MCU was huge, all the other studios were looking at something to be as huge. And I think that WB and Mattel are onto something with the Mattel Cinematic Universe. Just like Universal are onto something with the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Gaming movies all of a sudden are making money. The Barbie movie is making money. So I think it's a very, very interesting situation. It is now a priority over at WB. And as I say, if I'm a business person at Warner Brothers Discovery, my priority wouldn't be DC. So what would I do with DC right now? I'm excited for Superman Legacy and all these movies, but at the end of the day, James Gunn has made some very, very odd decisions. He's interfered with Aquaman, he's interfered with The Flash, and it's not a good thing to interfere with people's movies. Now, they wanted Greta Gerwig to cut something out of the Barbie movie. She said no, it didn't happen. And the movie's successful. It works. But listen, studios have interfered with directors' visions since the beginning of time. Charlie Chaplin, would be interfered by studios, Stan Laurel scripts, things like that. So this isn't just the WB thing. People always get surprised. Oh my God, they wanted to cut this out of the movie. That's what studios do, right? They interfere. After all, it is their money. And so this is what I would do in terms of the DC thing. I would scrap DC Universe right now. I would focus on the Black Label plan from Todd Phillips. I would focus on Matt Reeves' The Batman sequel and, the Batman Cinematic Universe he's planning. That's as far as I would go with DC, and the rest of it, I just leave it alone. And I think if someone wants to make a Superman movie who has a vision for a Superman movie, like one movie, maybe, and then a sequel and a third, a trilogy or something like that, fine. But I think a DC Cinematic Universe at this point isn't going to work. Shazam didn't make great money. Birds of Prey, the Suicide Squad, Black Adam, etc., etc., etc. It's been a disaster. But when it comes to the Batman, that did make good money. And Todd Phillips' Joker is one of the best movies ever made. And if it were me, I've said this before anyway, I would drop DC Universe. I would focus my energies on the Mattel Cinematic Universe and just let Matt Reeves and Todd Phillips do their things. Because it's not just DC. The superhero trend is dead. And we all know that. And sometimes it's like when you're in a relationship and you don't want to accept you failed in that relationship. You want to do the Instagram couple selfies and pretend you're still in a successful relationship. No one wants to admit they've made bad decisions. In terms of DC and WB, they've made a lot of mistakes with DC. We already know that. But if it were me, I would be making lesser DC movies and I would be focusing everything on the Mattel Cinematic Universe. And even though Margot Robbie isn't my favourite person in terms of her politics, her feminism, I would have her in the middle of it because, you know, she made the right decisions. In terms of Birds of Prey, she didn't make the right decisions as a producer. She brought in Greta Gerwig. It has worked at the end of the day. As I say, you know, I'm not one of those assholes who, you know, who when they don't like something or is triggered by something, that I keep on digging myself a deep hole. It's worked. The thing I said wouldn't work has worked. Whatever they've done, you know, the cross kind of studio marketing has worked, but it has worked. People are watching Barbie, then they're going to watch Oppenheimer as well. So I think it's true. I think the Mattel Cinematic Universe is the priority over DC. I think we should stick with Todd Phillips, stick with Matt Reeves, and forget the James Gunn plan. And I do believe after we come out from these strikes, that, my friends, is a possibility. Because money in business, not just in Hollywood, but money in business changes everything. And I think we have to face it, that superheroes are not the trend. And we need to make less superhero content. There's definitely an audience for Matt Reeves' plans. There's definitely an audience for Todd Phillips' plan. But everything else, and as I say, if you want to make individual Superman movies or Green Lantern movies, you know, come in with them and, you know, do trilogies of these characters and make one every 2 years or something, that's fine. Marvel is in trouble. WB have lost a lot of money on DC. So reduce what you're doing and focus on your Mattel Cinematic Universe. I know it's a very controversial thing to say as a DC fan, as someone who's, you know, predominantly talks about DC on their YouTube channel, predominantly as DC, you know, nerds, you know, subscribe to his channel, but I can only tell you how I feel. And if I was running the business, this is exactly what I would do.